Mic check, making sure I have good sound. And I do. Okay, first let me apologize. I know I'm kind of late with this. I had said I was going to do this several days ago. Unfortunately, right now, it's a hectic time of year, of course. You know, holidays, family, Christmas shopping, wrapping presents, and all that good stuff. And then my health on top of that. I spend a lot of time sleeping. I'm not really the kind of person who can be awake and not doing something. And activity kind of tends to speed my heart up, and I don't really want to make any more trips to the ER right now. So I spend a lot of time sleeping just to keep my heart rate down so that it doesn't go crazy before I get to this cardiologist next month. So anyway, um, I said I was going to do this a couple of days ago, and I haven't been able to get to it. But the Bakersfield girls, I have uh, been keeping tabs on them, and for the most part, they are still missing. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this. Now, the order that I found these girls in is not in the order that they disappeared. So I'm going to present it to you in the order that I found them in. And after we do that, we'll do a quick check because I haven't checked since I think the day before yesterday. We'll do a quick check and see if any more girls have gone missing in that area who kind of fit into this little profile that I'm building. And you'll see that as we're reading their descriptions and as we look at the area that they went missing from. It's a relatively small area. When I mapped it out, I believe from the two disappearances that were the furthest apart, as the crow flies, was like 22 minutes apart. So, like I said, a very small area in Bakersfield that they went missing from. Some of these girls were literally only minutes away from their disappearance, was literally minutes away from where another girl disappeared. Hi, Tammy, my true trooper. I'm so glad to see you back. So, the first girl that I found missing was Natalie Lafredes. And if I'm saying her name wrong, if anyone uh, catches that, drop me a message. If you go to my Facebook page, I have a WhatsApp number up there. It is 234. I'm not going to try to remember that off the top of my head because I'm going to do myself a disservice. It is 234 348 2557. Um, so the first one that came up missing was that I found was Natalie Lafredes. This was her little news story. The Bakersfield Police Department is asking for the public's help in locating a juvenile reported missing who is considered at risk due to first time missing. Natalie Lafredes, 15, was last seen Thursday about 7:20 p.m. in the 500 block of Monterey Street. She is described as an Asian girl, 5 foot 2 inches tall, 105 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a black T-shirt, dark baseball shorts, and black slides. Okay, so you notice off top, she's very petite, 5 foot 2, and only 105 pounds. She's 15. This is the only picture that I could find. I did do some searching around, and it's not really even showing very large on this page. Let's see if we can zoom in a little. It's not a very good picture, and it's very blurry. So you'll see there, she's very petite, and I want to say mid-teens. Now let me get over here to the next one. Also notice that she was considered endangered, or is, because Natalie is one of the ones who is still missing. She's considered endangered because of her first time missing status. She does not have a history of being a runaway or disappearing or any of that type of thing. And you'll notice as we go along, I'm sorry, my other page, my other tab refreshed on me. You'll notice as we go along that she's not the only one who is a first time missing. That's kind of falling into the little pattern that I'm seeing develop. And I don't really even know if, yes, Bakersfield, California. I don't even know if this is per se a pattern, but to me, it kind of seems like it when I found the first one. And then they just started to kind of pop out to me. They started to come out of the woodworks. So I'm like, The next one that I found was this one. This young lady's name is Violet Cash Johnson. She's 16. Again, mid teens. Her description, now she went missing on November the 21st. Her description is 5'4". She's a black girl, 5'4", weighs 165 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen a red hooded sweater and red Adidas sweatpants. She went missing about 9:25 p.m. Again, very petite, height wise, mid teens. You'll see here it says that she is considered at risk due to being missing for the first time. So you kind of see where I'm going with this kind of a pattern. Petite, mid teens, first time missing, considered endangered for that fact. This young lady also does not have a history of running away or disappearing. And another thing is, with these girls, it was hard to find any other information other than what you're seeing in these news, social media. Um, there's like zero almost. So this is Violet Cash Johnson. This is the second one that I found. Let's move on to the next one. And I'm kind of going through these really quickly up front because I want to kind of talk about some other things about them. Now, the next one, this is Layla Renee Romo. She is 16 years old as well. She went missing. Let's just read this. All right, the sheriff's deputies are looking for 16-year-old Layla Renee Romo. She was last seen on November 8th at Highway 58 and Gaston Street near Frito-Lay factory around 8:30 a.m. Romo is described as 4 feet 11 inches tall, weighing 110 pounds. Her family says she was last seen wearing black long sleeve shirt, blue jeans, black socks, and white sandals. She also has piercings on her nose and navel. Again, very petite height wise, 4 foot 11. This one, I believe there's another article that I read where she is also a first time missing. She went missing November 8th. So we have Natalie on the 25th, Violet on the 21st, and Layla on the 8th. Now, she apparently was not technically within. Yeah, it is. And we have 8 total. I found 8 so far. All right, the next one is going to be, and of the 8, only 2 of them have been found so far. The next one is going to be Aberlin Amador. Uh, Layla Renee, Aberlin Amador. So actually, the next one is going to be Melody Marshall. I'm pulling these straight from my Twitter feed because I posted them on Twitter as I found them. Okay, let's look at her picture. It's again not a very good picture. Let me set this up just a little bit different. Maybe we can get a better view of what's actually going on the screen. Okay, there we go. So this is Melanie Marshall. Bakersfield Police Department is asking for the community's help in locating 14-year-old girl who was last seen in central Bakersfield. Melanie Marshall was last seen Monday around 5:30 p.m. in the 600 block of A Street near Beale Park. Marshall is considered at risk because she has no prior history of running away. Marshall is described as 5 foot 3 inches tall, weighs 170 pounds, has blue eyes and red wavy hair. She was last seen wearing a black sweater and black sweats. Again, very petite height wise. She's a little heavier than the other girls, coming in at 170. But we see this at risk because it's her first time being missing. She doesn't have a history of just disappearing. Melanie is one of the girls who who has not yet been marked as found. Oh dear God. In Bakersfield? Is Bakersfield even big enough to have that many RSOs? That's crazy. 1,149 RSOs in Bakersfield as of December. That is that's wild. I'm gonna pin that up there. And that is an idea, that is a thought that crossed my mind when I kind of started to feel like there was a pattern here. It did cross my mind that maybe this is a trafficking thing. Maybe these girls are being snatched up by someone because to me it seemed odd that so many girls in a similar age range, similar heights, they almost seem to fit a type. They're racially diverse. We've seen an Asian girl, we've seen a black girl. There are white girls on here. There are Latina girls on here. So maybe it's the height is the main thing about it. And they seem like they may be, like I said, I haven't been able to find a whole lot of information about these girls. So based on the fact that they're first time missing, I'm going to assume that they're not some problem kids who are out there, partying, doing drugs, whatever, messing up in school. Because if that's the case, more than likely they wouldn't suddenly be going missing or running away for the first time at 14, 15, 16 years old. Um, there would most likely have been a history of some type of issues, and they most likely, sorry, I hit the mic, they most likely would have um, worded these things differently or chalked them up to being a runaway as opposed to being missing. Okay, so let me get my pen so I can mark that. This is Melanie. And we did Layla, Violet, and Natalie. Okay, and the next one is Aberlin. Hmm. I guess Bakersfield is bigger than I thought it was. I didn't even realize Bakersfield was that big. I guess just from the way it was described, because I'm only familiar with Bakersfield from Orrin and Orson West, Sincere and Classic. So I don't know. It just I always pictured it as this small place, and I've never really looked into it because I only follow the Orrin and Orson West case like from a distance. I watch other people's updates about it, so I've never really done much research on that area or anything until this popped up. This is Aberlin Amador. She's 16. She went missing on November the 9th, the same day as another girl and the day after Layla. Let me fix this mic. It's just catching on everything. All right. Now it says Aberlin Amador was last seen Tuesday, November 9th around 1:30 p.m. in the 8700 block of Worrell Court near Gosford Road and District Boulevard. Amador is considered at risk because she has no prior history of running away. Again, first time missing, no history of this. Amador is described as being 5 foot 3 inches tall, petite in stature, weighs 160. She's a little bit heavier, uh, more like Melanie. She has brown eyes and long brown hair. She was last seen wearing a blue flannel shirt, ripped jeans, and blue shoes. Again, this is Aberlin Amador. Aberlin, based on her name and just looking at her picture, her skin complexion, her hair color, her facial features, I'm assuming that Aberlin is Latina. So again, we see that there's a variety. It's not like if this is indeed a pattern, if this is someone who's targeting these young girls in this area, they're not going after just one type. It doesn't have to be a short black girl or a chunky white girl. Apparently, the main thing that these girls are having in common right now is the age range and their height, stature wise, from what I can see. Okay. All right, for this one, I'm going to have to go in and here we go, copy link, back to the tweet. This is Brooke Sigrist. Now, Brooke was found, which is a great thing. She was the first one that I saw in my research that was found. Again, not a very good picture, and that's about as good as I can zoom in. I mean, she has on a mask. This picture would not have been very helpful to anyone who didn't actually know her. And honestly, if you knew her, you probably would have had to really look to know that this was her picture. Now, it said that Brooke was last seen at 6:30 p.m. on November 14th in the 5900 block of Meadow Oaks Court. Cygret was considered at risk because she had no prior history of running away. Cygret is described as a white girl, 17 years old, 5 foot 3, relatively short, 100 pounds. She's very petite with blue eyes, black shoulder length hair, and she has nose and ear piercings. Now, since she was found, I would have been very interested to see or to know some more information as to the circumstances of her being found. Was she just hanging out with friends? Um, I'm assuming that had she been kidnapped or taken by someone, that they probably would have included that information. So maybe she was just hanging out with friends. But she still does kind of fall into that the upper end of that age range, given that, but still within that mid teens area, short. and very petite, and also in that small area. All right. The next one is Lisa Velasquez. She was found, and I'm having to pull these from my Twitter page. I just reset my computer because it was just moving so slow that I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna reset it. And so I've lost a little bit of information. Let me see if I can pull her up this way. Lisa Velasquez missing Bakersfield. All right, and she's 14. Lisa was found. Thank goodness. So we have Brooke and Lisa who were found. Lisa was, I was hesitant to include her in the 8 that I found because her disappearance was was way back in October. She disappeared October 23rd. And I guess that's relative, that's pretty close to November, especially if it turns out that I find some more girls who fell in between that time of uh, October the 23rd when she disappeared and what was this? November the 9th when Aberlin and this next girl that I'm going to tell you about disappeared. Then I guess it fills in that space and it would allow for her to be included, which is why I included her because there's a chance that there are more girls that I just haven't come across. Now also these are sex offenders that was caught. What if this is someone that's not been caught before? His pattern is the age, girls never ran away before. Mm-hmm. Age, height, and never ran away before, so they're not really problem children from what we could see. That's a very good thought. Could be a pastor, someone with children, someone who is associated with children, um, youth programs, community youth centers, uh, youth athletics, maybe works in a place that's popular with youth in the area. I know, well, giving away my age, but for me at that age, it would have been like the arcade, the community center, certain parks in our neighborhood. So maybe somewhere that's popular with kids or particularly girls within this age range. Yeah, someone who's good with kids. You never know. It could even be a professional that has access to these children. Because nowadays you can't put anything past anyone. It could be a teacher. It could be a doctor. It could be anyone. Um, Now for her again, Lisa was found, but she did kind of fall into a lot of the categories. And it says that she was last seen in the 1000 block of Dabrowski Drive on October 23rd around 2 p.m. She is described as 5'4", so she falls in that petite height, petite stature, weighing about 170 pounds. So she still would kind of fall into there because she's going to be like the third girl who's uh, short but heavier. We did have the other two girls, Aberlin and Melanie. Actually, three other girls, Aberlin, Melanie, and Violet, who were all in the 160 to 170 range. Renegade Patriot, hi. Nice to see you in. Welcome to the chat. We're talking about a rash of missing girls in the Bakersfield, California area. The first disappearance, just to catch you up, the first disappearance was on October 23rd, which is the one that I'm reading now. And they ran through November up to the 25th of the 8 that I've found so far. All of the girls are first time missing, so they were considered endangered. All of them were relatively petite, short statured. Um, and information is really not available on them. Like social media, it was hard to find any pictures of them other than the one picture that was included, like in whatever news report came out about them. Oh, and none of these girls had Amber Alerts. There was not an Amber Alert for any of them. Yeah, I've been watching this for a few weeks. Um, the first one I found was before Thanksgiving, and then they just started kind of coming out of the woodwork. So I started kind of making notes of them. I tweet them on Twitter. And so it just started to stand out to me that, hey, these girls, this age range, these kind of short, this small geographic area, I mean, literally a small area, the two furthest apart distance-wise disappearances were like 22 minutes apart. And then some of them were literally just minutes apart. Like you could walk from this disappearance to that disappearance in maybe 10-15 minutes. So it just started to stand out to me. Um, Again, she was considered at risk because she has no history of running away. So this was something unusual for her. If you want to go on my Twitter is at savage underscore says underscore TCN on Twitter. And if you go back in my tweets, all of the 8 that I've found so far are in there, and that'll give you at least a head start into looking into them. And they all have a link to the new, at least one news article about the missing girls. Yeah, only two of these 8 have been found. I have one more to tell you about after Lisa here. Lisa was found, and the last one that I just talked about, Brooke, was found as well. They are the only 2 out of the 8 that I found so far who have been found. No information was given about their circumstances of being found. The one girl, Brooke, was 17 years old. It was her first time being missing. She was found. And since there was really no fanfare, no news articles about any dramatic circumstances involving her being found, yeah, I sure can. You'll have to copy and paste because I don't know how to add the actual link that will take you directly to there in the chat. But if you copy and paste this in Twitter, it will take you to me. You can also find Savage Says TCN on Facebook. Okay, and for the last one, I'm just gonna search her the same way I did Anaya Lee, Bakersfield. All right, this is Anaya Lee. This is the last of the 8 that I found, and also these I'm not presenting these in the order that they went missing. I'm presenting them in the order that I actually found them, um, because I found one, and then when I went to do like a update check to see if Natalie had been found, then I actually ended up the first thing in the search when I did like Bakersfield missing teen girl was another girl. And so I started checking links, and that's how I started to find these other girls. So I'm presenting them in the order that I found them, not the order that they actually went missing. This is Anaya Lee. Anaya Lee has not been found. Um, Bakersfield Police Department. And this one is worded a little differently because this one actually does call her missing runaway juvenile instead of just missing. Bakersfield Police Department is requesting the public's help in locating a missing runaway juvenile. Anaya Lee was last seen November 9th, which is the same day that Aberlin Amador went missing. was last seen November 9th in the 700 block of Vine Street. Lee is considered at risk because she has no prior history of running away. Lee is described in the news release as black, 16 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall, 115 pounds. She has brown eyes, brown hair, curly shoulder length hair. She also has a piercing under the center of her nose. So we have that missing teens. 5'6" is not really, really short. It's on the, I'll say on the tall end of short. 115, she would still be relatively petite. Um, and I say that because one of my daughters is 5'4" and about 120 at one point, and I consider her petite. Like if you see her, you walk in the store and you see her in the store, she looks petite. She looks short. Um, and I myself am like 5'6", so sometimes I feel short because there are some things that I just can't reach, and then sometimes I feel a little tall, especially when I stand next to my daughters because they're both shorter than me. All right, so this is the 8 girls that I found. Um, I want to put this on the map for you real quick. Y'all know I don't like to do like really long lives. I want to put this on the map for you real quick. And I, like I said, I had to reset my computer, so I lost a lot of stuff. So we're going to be doing this pretty much from scratch. Bakersfield, California. All right, now let's cut, close, and let's go into this map here so we can pin out some stuff and get a really good idea. So this is the map of Bakersfield, California area. And another reason, Tammy, that it kind of surprised me. Thank you, Renegade. I appreciate that. I'm really trying to grow that platform because it's a lot easier for me to get Amber Alert and missing persons information out on Twitter because I can just instantly just make another account unless they banned your like IP or your phone number or something. Make a new email. I've done it plenty of times. I've never actually gotten banned from a social media site though. I've come close, I think. Um, but yeah, just make a new email. Yeah, but I'm trying to grow that platform because it's so much easier and faster for me to get information out there as opposed to having to make a video, edit it, find pictures, find different things, soundtracks, sound bites. It's a lot faster. I've had where I've made an Amber Alert video and then by the time I finished editing it and got ready to upload it, the person was found. So Twitter, instantly I can just share what I found there and get these faces out there so more people. If I ever figure out how to work Instagram, I set up an Instagram account, but I don't know how to use it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to pin these out in the order that they actually went missing instead of the order that I found them. So Lisa was the first one to go missing on October the 23rd, and that was 1,000, the block of the Brisky Drive. I wish I still had my other map up here because I already had it laid out. I had some measurements put in there, and it was just already all together and ready to go. So we got that, and then the next to go missing is Ayla on November the 8th. She was at 58th and Gaston Court, Highway 58. Gadsden. Gadsden Street. There we go. All right. And you can see already, just as the crow flies, the first two only about 17 miles apart. Check those off. Okay. Then we have both Aberlin and Amaya went missing the very next day on the 9th. So 700 Vine Street and 8700 Warrell Court. Well, I guess it's going to be Vine Road. Oh, it could be Vine Drive. I'm pretty sure the article said Vine Street. That's what I wrote down. But let's go with Vine Drive since that's Bakersfield. And you can see here, not very, not very much distance. These two are almost right on top of each other. Yes, Kern County. So some of these actually fell inside the city limits in Bakersfield, and some of them were outside the city limits in Kern County. But you know how that goes. Like the little area around the city usually is just called whatever that city is. Right, and here's our other pin. Still, now this one and this one, same day. This is Anaya and Aberlin. So we have Anaya over here on Vine Court and Aberlin over here on Warrell. Both of them went missing on the 9th. The next girl to go missing was 5 days later on the 14th. That was Brooke Sigrist. That's the one that she's 17. She's the oldest out of the bunch. And so I don't know if she may have just been out hanging out with friends. Because, like I said, well, you know, when they find people, they don't really give a lot of update information. They don't really tell you, all right, these two are going to seem like they're going to be the farthest apart. And we're looking at 11 miles, only 11 miles. Or actually, 22 miles. That's what it was, not 22 minutes. These were the two farthest apart disappearances. I sure won't. I usually don't mention names other than like missing people. Um, so these two were the two farthest apart of the disappearances, if I recall correctly, from the original map that I did. Now, the very next day after Brooke went missing is when Melanie Marshall went missing, and she was at 600 A Street. And again, you see right here, they're just right on top of each other right here. The next one to go missing was Violet on the 21st. So that was like a week later, so exactly 7 days. And she was at Haley Street and Lake Street area. So we're going to say Haley Street and Lake Street, Bakersfield, California. So you see, she's really not very far from these other girls. We see like we're starting to see kind of a cluster right here. And since the city name is here, I'm going to assume that this is the central area of the city. Now, 4 days later, we have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 days later, we've got the last girl going missing on the 25th, and she was at 500 Monterey in the 500 block of Monterey. And you see, look how literally how close she is to which one is this? Haley Street, Violet Johnson. So on the 21st, you got Violet Johnson going missing right here near Haley Street and Lake Street. 4 days later, you have Natalie Lafreda is going missing over here at 500 at the 500 block of Monterey Street, and this is literally walking distance. This is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks away. Literally 10 blocks away. Not even a mile as the crow flies. So I'm going to save this map so that if we can come back to it if we need to and add some more uh, pins to this map that we've already got set up. And again, our farthest apart was, zoom out just a little bit more. What was this? 22 miles, the farthest apart. But again, this one at Gatson Street is the one, I believe, this one. This one is the 17-year-old who was found, who may very well have just been hanging out with friends. And that is the Bakersfield girls. We're going to keep tabs on them. I will, if I find any more, I will most likely not be posting every time I find a new missing Bakersfield girl, but I will post if I find like 3 or 4 more. I'll probably post an update video with some updated pins on the map. It really isn't. It's all relatively close together. I mean, spitting distance, as the old folks would say. So the things that are really standing out to me about this case, just to kind of rehash, is mid-teens, petite in stature, first time missing in all 8 of these cases. Relatively close together, we see that cluster right in here. All over the course of about 4 weeks. First disappearance that I've found so far happened on 10/23. The last one that I found so far on 11/25. Okay, well, I'm going to do some research of this area, wondering someone new that moved on that area around that time. I just learned all that looking while you doing this video. Yeah, I am sure there's a whole lot more information out there. I am not really a sleuth. Um, I am not good at finding information and like criminal backgrounds and different things like that. I am good at noticing when things are off. Like it's off to me that these girls in this age range, in this height range, in this small area are going missing for the first time in such a small area in such a short span of time. I'm good at noticing things like that. I'm good at noticing when stuff doesn't add up or when stuff doesn't make sense. Like in Summer's case, some things that are said and it's like, hey, that doesn't really calculate with this other stuff that's been said. I'm not a sleuth. I'm not good at digging down social media profiles, looking up court records, all that stuff. But I can present to you what I found so that you can do a little more research yourself. At least be aware of the fact that these girls are missing. Um, maybe it's a pattern, maybe it's not. You know. All right, definitely do that. I will try to. I cannot really commit to dates and times for videos or for the next month or so, just because there's so much going on. I will try to be live at least once a week. That's about as much as I can commit to. And when I do come on live, even like say I came on here to talk about the Bakersfield girls. But if you guys are out there and you have new information that you want to share or talk about some other case, whether it's Summer or Ariel or Michael or anyone or anything else, feel free to drop it in the comments and we can talk about all of it whenever I'm on here. I just want to help share information about all as many missing people as I can, as many victims as I can and help them get justice. So their faces are out there. Please share the video. If you followed me on Twitter, retweet, share their faces, share their stories. If you find something, share it. Tag me in it so that I can know and I can help to spread it as well. All missing reports as a only. I don't only do missing on Twitter. On Twitter, I get into a lot more conversations on Twitter than I do on YouTube. On YouTube, I kind of tend to focus on just certain cases, that I want to do videos on, go more in depth on, bring it to more to the forefront of people's attention. On Twitter, I just kind of dibble in a lot of true crime conversations. I share mostly missing people and children, but I get into discussions about the current trials or some weird news headline that might have come out in true crime. Yeah, or too scared to speak out. Um, oh, before we close this video, I do want to share this with you guys. It is totally unrelated, but I came across it on another Facebook page and I was just like, are you kidding me? That makes absolutely no sense. You guys are going to really trip on this. I know I did. I'm still trying to figure this one out. I mean, this is one of those things you just like make it make sense. Okay, clickorlando.com. And block ads because I know that they have a lot of ads on this website. All right, unidentified baby found with missing couple in Volusia County. Lincoln and Amanda Germana arrested in the Leon Springs. Yes, all of the alerts for these girls, which none of them have Amber Alerts. That's another thing. None of these girls have active Amber Alerts at any time since they've gone missing. But each of the tweets that I have for these girls has a link to at least one news article that gives the information that I shared here, when they went missing, where they went missing from, their description, and their picture. And yeah, but none of them have any type of Amber Alert, Silver Alert, any of that stuff going for them. That was another thing that stood out to me. Like, if they're first time missing and they're considered endangered, it seems like law enforcement should have made use of some of the resources available. Even if you couldn't do an Amber Alert because you don't have a vehicle or suspect description, you could have done a Silver Alert to at least get it out there to people that they're missing. Here's this crazy story though. Please take a look at these two. They mugshots, true enough, but they just look like your average people, right? Like these, maybe they got arrested for, who knows, DUI, petty shoplifting or something. Whatever. Wait to hear this. A couple reported missing from Indiana turned up in Volusia County. That's in Florida, along with a stolen van and an unidentified baby. Deputies arrested Lincoln Germana, 28, and Amanda Germana, 26, Thursday in the Leon Springs after detectives in Johnson County, Indiana, alerted Volusia County Sheriff's Office that a cell phone belonging to the couple had pinged in the area, according to an incident report. Investigators said the two were seen returning to a stolen Penske moving van, which had license which had a license plate stolen from another cargo van. The couple had a stroller with them, but family members had told detectives that Amanda Germana had a miscarriage during her most recent pregnancy and had not, to their knowledge, given birth since. She had a miscarriage this summer, making it unclear to whom the baby belonged. Investigators said they surrounded the vehicle and ordered the couple out of the van. Once both were secured, detectives said they secured the vehicle and found the baby in the cargo area of the van in a car seat that was secured with a bungee cord. Records show there were several items inside the cargo area that were not secured properly and could have injured the infant. Detectives added that the van had a foul odor due to the amount of dirty clothes and used diapers inside. At the time of the arrest, investigators said Amanda Germana spontaneously said that the child was not hers. They added that Lincoln Germana said the child's name was Emmanuel Rodriguez, but Amanda Germana called the child John. Investigators said that since the arrest, the couple has claimed that the child is theirs, explaining that it was a home birth, so there were no records. Deputies said they will use DNA to determine the child's parentage. The infant is being cared for by the Department of Children and Families pending investigation. Both face charges of child neglect. Lincoln Germana also faces charges of grand theft. Now, they also have a 3-year-old daughter that they left in Indiana with his mom. And then they turn up, after being reported missing, they turn up all the way down in Florida in a stolen van with stolen plates with a mysterious baby. Now, if that's not crazy, I don't know what is. Yeah, it is definitely a pattern. Um, oh, one last thing came to mind. I think the Bakersfield police did do an update. It seems I saw that title. Bakersfield PD missing teens update. It seems like I saw a caption like that. Okay, yeah, on November 9th, officials addressed recent missing teens in Kern County. Not sure if this is about the girls, but we're going to find out. Okay, in the past couple of weeks, there have been a surge in the number of missing people, mainly involving kids and teens. Bakersfield, California. According to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, in the past couple of weeks, there has been a slight surge in the number of missing people, mainly involving kids and teens. By definition, a missing person in California is someone whose whereabouts are unknown by the by those reporting it. There has been a flyer. There has been flyer after flyer of law officials asking the public for help in finding these missing juveniles, as most of them are teenagers. 23ABs broke down the cases since the start of the surge. Now, some of the girls that I mentioned are on here, and there's some others on here too that I didn't see that I actually need to add them. We see that Layla is there, Oberlin is there, Anaya and Melanie are there. Rashad is there. He's 11. Sage Best I'm gonna open me the new tab over here and check those out real quick. Uh, Despite this number, officials said missing kids and teens are far from uncommon in our area. On average, deal with 70 missing or runaway juveniles a week. That's a lot of missing or runaways. 70 a week. Missing and runaway are different. Missing means a child is there 1 second and gone the next. Pair noted most cases are runaways, but that should not diminish the gravity of the situation. Even if they are voluntarily gone, that places them at higher risk of people taking advantage of them and bad things happening to them. He added they get runaway reports on a daily basis, but believes social media has made people more aware of the issue. This issue is not just here in Bakersfield. These are the cases we have had from October 30th through November 17th that are still missing in our area. All these kids range from 14 to 16 years old, with the exception of Rashad Laws, who is 11. Here in Kern County, we do have some locals trying to make a difference. We're going to make a flyer. We're going to go out at the last location. We will knock on doors. We will find the parking lots. We will do all this for you to help you find your kids, said January Bottoms, co founder of Missing Smiles, Kern County. January Bottoms is a Kern County resident who uses social media to spread awareness to help find missing kids. Let me write their name down. January Bottoms, so I can check her out. Through her through her Facebook page, Missing Smiles of Kern County, she tries to get in contact with the family and puts together a search of volunteers to knock on doors and drive down streets, all while live on Facebook. 2 weeks ago, we found a missing 12-year-old boy. He was found over the live. Veterans Day, we had the missing young girl found over the live, and those were because we heard it over the scanner. So it's just about coming together. Oh, that sounds like something to check out. Like they're doing some good things over there. So that's January Bottoms, and that's Missing Smiles Kern County on Facebook. Uh, uh crazy. All right, let's see. This officer says right now we are seeing a slight increase this year as compared to last year, but obviously we're seeing kids go back to school. We are seeing an increase in the population, so we are not really seeing as big of an increase as it might be portrayed on social media. I don't know, 70 kids a week? That seems like a lot. All right, let's look at some of these new other kids real quick that were not covered in my video. Okay, so it just opened the same page again. Okay, missing teen. This is one of the guys. Let's see if he was a first time missing. This is Jaheim Reese. Jaheim Reese was last seen October 30th at approximately 12:04 in the 600 block of Hosking Avenue. Reese is considered at risk due to no history of way. He's black male, 16 years old, 5'8", 130 pounds. Well, we might have to add something else here. Maybe it's not a pattern of girls. Yeah, that's what it sounded like they were saying. And then they're saying they're seeing up to 70 reports of runaways a week on average. That's kind of, I don't know. He was last seen wearing a black shirt, blue Gap pants with a skateboard. So that is Jaheim Reese. All right. Sage Best. All right. This is Sage Vest. 16-year-old Sage Vest was last seen October 30th in the 5600 block of Gosford Road in Bakersfield. She is described as white, standing 5'6" and weighing about 100 pounds, fairly petite. It's a he. He has black and red hair, green eyes. Okay, now it says she. She has piercings in both nostrils, septum, and right eyebrow. She was last seen wearing a white t shirt and blue jeans. This does not mention her being a first time missing, although she does kind of fit into the height and weight and age. So that is Sage Best. All right, and the last new one that was on there was missing child, Rashad Laws. This was the 11-year-old. Such a handsome little youngster. All right. And he was considered at risk due to his age. According to Bakersfield PD, Rashad Laws was last seen in the 800 block of Bell Terrace on Wednesday, November 17th, 2021 at approximately 4 p.m. He is described as black, 11 years old, 5 feet tall, 90 pounds, light brown hair, hazel eyes, wearing a black t shirt, gray sweatpants, and black tennis shoes. So, whether or not we have a pattern, we do definitely, whether or not we have a pattern of young girls suddenly going missing, we do definitely have a rash of missing teens in such a small area. Um, all right, let me go ahead and close out this video. Again, Savage Says TCN on Facebook, Savage underscore says underscore TCN on Twitter. I post a lot more on Twitter than on any of the other platforms because it's just quicker and easier. Facebook, I have been posting more thoughtful, just kind of discussion starting type posts, putting an idea out there, sharing some of my thoughts, and just inviting people to come and join, add your thoughts, talk about it. How do you see it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? They said it's common for teens to go missing. They have a Christian border school and does other things to help troubled children. I look more into that. All right. Well, in the time that I'm away, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Bakersfield, especially the missing teen girls, but missing children and teens over there, especially. Maybe there's more than one pattern going on here. Maybe there's not a pattern at all. Maybe it's something entirely different. But if we don't check it out, we'll never know. I'm also going to check out January Bottoms and her Facebook page. If it seems like she's really doing some good positive things over there, I'll share her out on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. Yeah, there are way too many kids going missing, man. We really gotta come together and kind of just do something to find them. I mean, if nothing else, we just gotta keep sharing their name, sharing their faces, keep them out there, keep the conversation going. And I'm out of here. See y'all next time.